So you're thinking about moving to Philadelphia? Well, today we're going to talk about 10 pretty shocking facts that you should know about living here. If you're thinking about moving here, or if you're already living here, maybe check out these 10. Maybe you didn't know them. There were some I didn't know. I've been living here since 1999, and some of them kind of shocked me. Let's start right away with number 10. Philadelphia actually is known for having the most murals in all of the United States. What do you mean? What am I talking about? Philly has actually more murals in the United States than any other city in the United States. Yes, I said it twice. I know, because there's over 4,000 of them. And it's crazy. I know I haven't seen all 4,000, but they're out there. I've seen a lot. Some of them are huge. It's actually considered, and I didn't know this either, Philadelphia is considered the mural capital of the world. It's not just like random graffiti or street art that you could see all over, especially in New York City. Yes, I kind of grew up in the 80s, saw a lot of the graffiti and the street art in New York City. So it was pretty awesome, especially the ones, really good ones on the subway. But Philadelphia was having a problem with graffiti street art back in the 80s too. And so instead of fighting it, which they did in the beginning, they turned around and said, hey, let's embrace it. So they decided to flip the script. Instead of punishing artists, they gave them a canvas. They gave them actually properties, buildings, and walls to do their artwork on. In 1994, the mural arts of Philadelphia was born. Basically, we were telling people that, hey, you want to paint, you want to do artwork on walls and buildings, we got it for you. It was started as an anti-vandalism project, then turned into the world's largest public art program with over 12,000 local painters, artists, former offenders. Basically turned around and said, hey, join this is what you can do. And by the way, we're going to make it legal. Some of the stuff is amazing. And we're not just talking small little pieces of art. We're talking like 3-story high walls that are painted with there's a lot of different. There's actually people, famous people like Smoking Joe Frazier. You'll see that. I think there was a Bill Cosby mural at one point. It might have been taken down, converted to something else. There's a Will Smith one I've seen. And it's just not just characters and individuals and famous people. It's just pure art. And you see it everywhere. You can see it a lot of actually in the aspects of depending on what neighborhood you go to. You might see some more, you might see some less. You see in Center City, see it throughout the different neighborhoods. And in fact, in case you didn't know, if you ever come here and visit, you can actually take a tourist bus around and where they just show you straight up a whole bunch of murals. Now, they won't show you all 4,000, obviously, but they'll usually show the top 10, top 15 most popular. All right, so that's number 10. So let's get on to number 9. And this I definitely didn't know. I was kind of shocked about that Philadelphia is the home of the first hospital that was ever built in the United States. Yes, first hospital ever built in the United States was built right here in Philadelphia. And guess who built it? One and only Benjamin Franklin. Yes, that guy on the dollar bills, y'all. Like to bake, Benjamin, as we call it. If you don't know what a Benjamin is, Google it. The guy that is on the Benjamin started the first hospital. And that was basically back in 1751. Benjamin Franklin and Dr. James Bond created the first, yes, the man who created after the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin designed the first hospital. It was basically open to everybody who couldn't afford care. The hospital is still operating on 8th and Spruce in Center City. Yes, it's still around. It's obviously expanded. It's not in the original building. The original building is called the Historic Pine Building. Kind of still look like it did back in the 1700s. You can go check that out. Actually, that building has a bell you can ring that Ben Franklin used to ring when he needed the doctors to come back onto duty. That bell is still on the building. But the hospital has expanded into basically 8th and Spruce. It's a huge hospital. Not that far from Old City, technically. It doesn't stop there also. Philadelphia also created its first nation children's hospital called CHOP, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. It started in 1855. And I will tell you that CHOP is huge. First of all, it's a humongous hospital. It is also very well renowned. There's people who all over the United States will travel here. There's people from the different world internationally that will travel to CHOP to have their child taken care of, depending on the affliction and so on and so forth. I had a friend in college actually lived in North Jersey. She would travel with her little sister. The little sister needs some special care, and they would travel all the way from North Jersey, about a 2.5-hour drive once a month to go to CHOP. People are traveling all over the United States. Just check that out. Philadelphia is also known for the first college pharmacy. What? That's insane. Also, the first cancer hospital was also built right here in Philadelphia. And I think somebody did a research one time and said about it. 1 of 6 American doctors have actually attended some kind of class here in Philadelphia. So next time when people talk about Philly's only known for cheesesteaks and sports and water ice, you can let them know we're known for a lot more than that. we're actually quite well known when it comes to hospitals. Number 8, let's get right into that. Philadelphia is the most centralized local major city in the United States. Do you know that 25% of the United States population, 25% lives within 5 hours of Philadelphia? Another interesting tidbit, because I actually didn't know that. I always thought when I moved here back in 1999, yes, I'm a transplant from upstate New York, moved here myself in 1999, and I thought it was crazy how located, how central it was, because you are so easily accessible. Train ride, hour-and-a-half train ride to New York City, 2-hour train ride to DC, a 2-hour drive to Baltimore. By living here, it's crazy because in that sense, you're easily accessible to everything. Like you can jump on, go to 30th Street Market Station, which is the big, huge train track, Amtrak station we have. You can actually park right in the parking garage and walk right from the garage right into the train station. Catch your train, take the train from the station. So you take that at 9:30. By 11:30, you can be in Times Square because the train drops you off in Penn Center. And that's about 3-4 blocks away from Times Square. So if you leave here at 9:30, by 12 o'clock, you can be right smack dab in the middle of Times Square. Crazy, right? And it's the same thing when you take the train from here to DC, you can be at the White House, standing outside the White House, or checking out the Washington Monument in a couple hours by doing that. Or you can just drive down to Baltimore. They have an amazing aquarium there, pretty well-known aquarium. So what it does is that basically Philly is kind of like the northeast quarter. You know, oh, by the way, you can be in Jersey Shore in an hour. Like, I don't know if you want to go to the Jersey Shore, but if you wanted to, you could do that. So what makes Philly so great is that it's a major hub. I have a lot of people from New York City call me up and say, hey, thinking about moving to Philly, but staying continuously working like DC or New York City. Yes, they'll call me up because they'll see the housing prices are a lot less compared to New York. Taxes are a lot less on a property compared to New York City or compared to Washington, DC. So they'll call me up and say, hey, thinking about kind of traveling back and forth, especially with all these remote things you can do now. A lot of these employers now let you work remotely. I just had last year, I had a guy from New York City, Queens, New York, call me up and said, hey, I go to the office like twice a month. So why not just buy a house? And he bought a house in Fishtown, loves it. He bought a beautiful 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, basement, little backyard. He got that for like $400,000. In fact, it was less than $400,000. I think it was $385,000 he paid for that. $385,000 as taxes, or like $5,500. Think about that compared to New York City. That same house in New York City, close to $1 million. Seriously, close to $1 million. He wouldn't find that in Queens for under $750,000. That's for sure. So that's what he does. He goes here, and his family's now, rest of his family is thinking about moving here. So absolutely very important. Now, if you are thinking about moving here, of course, remember, I'm the guy. Thinking about moving, relocating, going here, thinking that Philly is your thing to do. This guy right here. Contact info is right here. Don't be afraid. Send me a DM, send me an email, call me, send me smoke signals. Don't send me smoke signals. I can't read smoke signals. But anyway, let's get back into it. The cool thing about living here, cheaper rent, better food prices, better taxes when it comes to real estate. That's why Philly is so great with that aspect of things if you're gonna do that, okay? You also gotta remember, Philly back in the day was actually the capital. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, I bet you fell asleep during history, American history, and you didn't realize, you forgot or didn't hear about it because you were sleeping. Philly used to be the capital of the United States before DC took over. Think about that, right? Sooner or later, I think John Adams was the last president that was here, or John Adams was forced to move there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But either way, perfect location. That's why Philadelphia is a lot of times we consider a center city. So why not think about it? Why not make it happen? I'm gonna move here. Anyway, number 7, which I didn't know. Philadelphia is considered one of the most haunted. Yes, one of the most haunted cities in the United States. I mean, tell me about that. How crazy is that? Did you know that? I know New Orleans is gonna say, oh, we're the most haunted, and you might be. I've been in New Orleans. There's some haunting places there. Haunting places, that's for sure. But Philly, and I didn't know, like I said, again, shocking fact to me, Philly is very much haunted. And then when you think about it, and you think about the history of the Philadelphia, you're like, this makes perfect sense. No wonder this is all so crazily haunted. Because first of all, let's start by Eastern State Penitentiary, which, by the way, was the first prison. So not only do we have the first hospital, we had the first cancer hospital, first college pharmacy, we also had the first jail. Yes, Eastern State Penitentiary. And I believe Al Capone, could be incorrect. If I'm incorrect, please let me know. Hit me up on a comment below. Just comment below and say, you're incorrect. Al Capone never stayed there. But I believe he did for a while. I know he didn't die there. No, I don't think he died in Alcatraz. But either way, Philly is centuries old, right? We have all these old colonial cemeteries, some of these old colonial buildings. You have underground tunnels. And I believe there's an underground railroad somewhere under the city. Not 100% sure. There are many sightings, supposedly, of ghosts, especially at this Eastern Penitentiary. It was built in 1829. People were thrown in there because they were supposed to get repentance. That's why they were supposed to go there, but they were kind of locked up and they'd go insane. It is considered during the year, it's considered a museum, but on Halloween, basically the month of October, they turn it into a huge haunted prison. Don't go there. Seriously, go there, check it out. I'm not going. You're not bringing me there. That place is scary. I mean, really, seriously. And people have said, you know, they've heard footsteps, screams, people that work there, you know. So, no, I'm not going out there. There's also different other ghosts, supposedly, over at Independence Hall, where the Founding Fathers signed this Declaration of Independence. There's rumors that some of the Founding Fathers are still walking around there, including Benjamin Franklin himself, because he does have a library there. And supposedly, occasionally, a book will fall off the bookshelf, and people say that is the Benjamin Franklin ghost trying to grab a book, but it gets knocked off the bookshelf. Now, if I ever walked Independence Hall and saw that, I would no longer go to the Independence Hall and visit. But check it out. Check it out during the day. There's also Elfreth Alley, which is one of the first ever streets built in Philadelphia. And there's still houses there. It's a really cool little alley house. Alley for hundreds of years. And supposedly, rumored, don't know, haven't seen one, but there's some ghosts peek out the windows and whatnot. And people talk about strange noises echoing in the alleyway. So if you love a good ghost tour, you got 3 places to check out: Eastern State Penitentiary, Independence Hall, Elfreth Alley. Make sure you do it at night. But if that's not your thing, stick to visiting them during the day. Definitely don't go to the prison on Halloween. It's scary as hell, not gonna lie. Number 6. Philadelphia is home to the second largest Irish and Italian population compared to New York City. A lot of Irish, a lot of Italians living up in New York City, but we have the second most biggest population when it comes to the Irish and the Italians, and I can tell you, they aren't split up in 2 different neighborhoods. The Italians usually stay in South Philly. Yes, South Philly is very much Italian. A lot of Italians in South Philly, and a lot of Irish usually stay from like Fishtown, Port Richmond, and up through the Northeast. What happened was basically in the 1800s, a lot of immigrants came to the United States, and a lot of them skipped New York City and went to Philadelphia. The reason they did that was because of the shipyards, the factories, and the railroads. So they stayed here. They loved it. There was job opportunities. They decided, like, what the heck? Let's stay here. Like I said, Italian Americans, South Philly, they have the world famous Italian market, which you're gonna come to Philadelphia. If you want to visit, especially if you're a foodie, go to the Italian market. It's off of Washington, goes up 9th Street. So you got Washington Ave, and then 9th Street goes straight up. It's awesome. Like, you got your homemade pastas, you got the gourmet chocolates, you got all the cannolis, you can eat all the Italian desserts and all the different kind of pastas you can think of. They have right at the Italian market, and it's pretty cool, actually. Definitely worth the trip. And by the way, like, the cool thing with Philly, like, there's a lot of free stuff. You can go see the Liberty Bell for free. I talk about it in one of my other videos. But the Italian market, you don't have to buy anything. You can just walk up to the Italian market, walk up to South Street, which is another cool spot to, another cool street to explore. You don't have to spend any money if you don't. But trust me, if you walk in the Italian market, you will spend money. Like some of the desserts, don't miss out. Italian market. Obviously, we talk about the Irish, Port Richmond, Fishtown, all the way up the Northeast. For them, St. Patrick's Day is a huge celebration. And by the way, Philly is pretty cool on St. Patty's Day. I have partaken in some fun times on St. Patty's Day in Philly, especially in the center city. It's crazy. It's a cool vibe, especially and it starts early. So if you're gonna do it, start early. And by nighttime, it's crazy. You're gonna wanna leave because the insanity really comes out. I usually say the crazy Irish people, or anybody who claims to be Irish, they start showing up, and it's out of control, that's for sure, but it's a lot of fun. You will see, especially, the Irish individuals, the Irish population, like I said, up in the Northeast, a lot of union workers, they're out of there. That's what they usually make their homes. The Irish built the infrastructure, Italians brought the food. Some Italians will disagree, but that's really how it comes down to when it comes to the Irish and the Italians. Now, number 5, the longest running farmers market is one of my favorite places, Reading Terminal Market. Used to be an old railroad. It's actually the longest running farmers market in the United States, right? It's called the Reading, like I said, Reading Terminal Market. Opened its doors in 1893, which means, now think about this, opened in 1893. It's been 2 world wars, Korean War, Vietnam War. It's been through the Great Depression, several recessions, and it never stopped serving locals and visitors. It was as an old train shed. They used to store the trains there back in the day, and that's why it's called the Reading Terminal Market. But today it's just a full-blown paradise of food. Like, it's insane. Like, you could go there. There's actually parking garage right across the street. You can park there if you're gonna drive. Just keep in mind, in Philly, we do a lot of Uber, we do a lot of walking. Get from the train station, you can walk over there if you get over the suburban train station. Not that far of a walk. And it's just amazing. Get there a little bit before lunchtime, and you could be there for a couple hours just eating. By the time you leave, you're stuffed. I mean, they have everything. Amish donuts, pierogies, jambalaya. They have fresh fruit, fresh vegetable. They have pastries, gourmet chocolates. I mean, it's just amazing seafood. Definitely want to check out Denix. Denix has a amazing roast beef sandwich there. Travel Channel was there one time, and actually at one point voted that the best American sandwich in the United States. Definitely check out the Reading Terminal Market. You cannot go wrong. And for your whole family, what you could do is, just a little tip, if you're going to go to the Reading Terminal Market and your whole family, try to get a little bit of everything and kind of turn it into a family style lunch. Done that before with my family. It's pretty awesome. Number 4, home to most Americans' history was right here in Philadelphia. I mean, seriously, this is where the United States began. Declaration of Independence was created and signed here. The U.S. Constitution was written and debated here. Liberty Bell is still here. Cracked and everything. And by the way, like I talked about before, you can check out the Liberty Bell for free. Yes, it's easy. It's in a building, right? You go to the end of the building, stay outside, go to the end of the building. There's big windows there. You time it right, get a picture of the Liberty Bell with no one in it. All right, think about that. Yeah, as I said before, Philadelphia was the first capital before DC started right here. It was built in the late 1800s. The city was a political and intellectual center of the colonies. People thought of it like, hey, let's make Philadelphia the capital of the United States. But basically, they also thought it was better food, more personality. Inside Independence Hall delegates declared United Independence in 1776, and then 11 years later, drafted the U.S. Constitution. Obviously, nearby Philadelphia, George Washington was inaugurated, Franklin printed his papers, and Betsy Ross stitched the first American flag right here in Philadelphia. Think about that. It's what founding fathers hung out. Also remember the fact that if you are thinking about moving to Philadelphia, it's a spot to be, place to be. You want to check out the food and all that good stuff. Contact this guy right here. Seriously, information. Send me a DM, email, give me a call. Let me know how I can help you. All right, let's get back into the good stuff. This is really what you hear. Philadelphia has 67 national historic landmarks, more than any other city. Anything from Christ Church, Franklin is buried, the President's House, which served as the President's House, what was called before, but before the White House was the White House, it was called the President's House right here in Philadelphia. So I mean, every block, like a lot of this is an old city. You definitely want to check out Old City. You also want to check out my other video, 5 top best neighborhoods to live in. Talk about Old City and Society Hill, Queens Village. All that has tons of history, so cool places to live. All right, check that video out. Make sure you do that, but not until you finish this video. You dare switch that channel. Because of everything that was set up here in Philadelphia, what it did also was create the largest, ready for this? The largest park system in the urban area, right here, Fairmount Park. Seriously, have one of the largest urban park systems. Like Central Park in New York City gets a lot of love, gets a tons of love. If you've been to Central Park, it's huge. Fairmount Park is even big, 10,000 acres of park system right here. Yes, largest urban park in the United States is in Philadelphia, Fairmount Park. The 10,000 acres means it's bigger than Paris. Ooh, Francie. Yes, bigger than Paris. Just our park alone is bigger than Paris. Talk about their Eiffel Tower. Well, we got Fairmount Park. Take that, Frenchie. Began back in 1855. The reason they created the Fairmount Park was basically protect the city's water along the Schuylkill. So I'm assuming, and I'm just making an assumption here, that they wanted the park so people wouldn't throw waste into the water. I guess they wanted to throw it in the park instead. So we're trying to keep the water clean. That's kind of one of the reasons they created the Fairmount Park in 1855. Now what happened was smaller parks, trails were added, forming today's vast network of forest, river, gardens, and historic mansions. You'll find a lot of history right on Fairmount Park. Within the city limits, you can also find hike wooded trails like Wissahickon Valley Park, which is awesome. Like seriously, it's a busy park in the summertime. Like on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, you go to Wissahickon Valley Park, it's crazy. You have people riding their bikes. You have different bikes too, by the way. You have the mountain bike, you have the speedster bikes, you have people walking, you have horseback riding. It's insane. I mean, you also in Fairmount Park, you have the Japanese tea house, which was built in the 1950s as a gift from Japan that was given to us. Number 2, by the way, these top 10, they're not really a top 10, like the one's better than the other. Depends on how you feel about things. Here we go, number 2, Philadelphia was the first city to guarantee religious freedom to immigrants. Yes, because back in the day, in the 1600s, we were told that only one religion was allowed, right? This is back in the 1600s. Most colonies were enforced a single religion. The founder over here, William Penn, you can see William Penn on top of the City Hall. It's a big old statue. See him in some of the movies. They like to do like cool little drone shots of William Penn. It's right on top of City Hall. He did what the opposite. Started what's kind of like a holy experiment, I should say, where he made Philadelphia a place where all people of all faiths could live here and worship freely. So it didn't matter if you were Jewish or you were Muslim or Mormon. I'm not sure if we had any Muslims back here, back in the 1600s, but any religion that you practiced, it was allowed in Philadelphia. He felt that way, you know, that you should be able to practice whatever religion you want. And guess what that meant? That created later on the First Amendment of the US Constitution, freedom of religion. But you didn't know that. You probably was sleeping during history again and didn't know that and missed that. So Philadelphia is really home to historic churches, synagogues, and mosques, some all the way back from the 1700s. We talked about Christ Church, where George Washington once worshipped, stands just steps away. So that's a cool thing. The Christ Church is really right around the corner from the congregation Mikvah Israel. If I said that incorrectly, I'm sorry, which is one of the nation's oldest Jewish congregations. So William Penn was way ahead of his time in saying, hey, we're not just going to believe in one religion here. We're going to allow all religions here in the city of Philadelphia. And last but not least, number one. I know you've been waiting for it. You're like, what's number one? And shockingly, Philadelphia is the home of the oldest continuously running theater in the English-speaking world. And you're probably looking at me and going, what are you talking about, Chris? What are you talking about? What do you mean it's the oldest continuously running theater in the English-speaking world? Which, by the way, is a mouthful. So don't try to say it again. Saying this, Philadelphia is home to the oldest continuously running theater in the entire English-speaking world, called the Walnut Street Theater, and it opened in 1809. And I've been there. I've seen a couple shows. I don't remember what it was, but it's been a few years. And by the way, since it was built in 1809, that means it's over 200 years of non-stop performance. That's longer than Broadway. I told you, suck at Broadway. Longer than London's West End. Cheerio to you, London West End. Walnut Street Theater has been around a lot longer. Take that, London. The same thing to you, Broadway, by the way. It's been everything. They've seen everything from candlelit plays to Broadway hits. Presidents have sat in there. Stars got their first break in there. Legends like Marilyn Monroe, Henry Fonda, and Katharine Hepburn have all performed on that stage. Now, if you don't know who those three people are, Marilyn Monroe, Henry Fonda, Katharine Hepburn, do yourself a favor and Google them, all right? Use Google. I'm not gonna tell you who they are. Just Google. I mean, you gotta at least know who Marilyn Monroe is. How do you not know who that is? But she's performed on that stage. So while New York has Broadway, Philadelphia has been entertaining America before Broadway even existed. And by the way, the cool thing is with Philly, I've talked about this before, jump the train. If you don't want to go Walnut Street Theater and you want to experience Broadway, that's not a problem. Take the Amtrak train, take it right into Penn Center, catch an Uber, taxi, yellow cab, and go to Broadway. But don't do that until you've seen Walnut Theater. I mean, come on. So that's what makes Philly so fascinating. We're talking about 10 shocking things about Philadelphia. If there's anything I missed that you'd love me to make a video about, comment below. Let me say, hey, Chris, what about this? Maybe I added as a number 11. Subscribe. Smash the like button. As I've said before, let me know I can help you. Send me a DM, email, text. Don't send me any smoke signals. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you on the next video.